When I saw your note, it said we were talking about doing videos of past leaders. And my reaction was, I don't want to be a past leader. I still want to be a leader. I still want to contribute to PDA. So my involvement with PDA actually started after I had begun looking for organizations that shared my interest in visual inspection, an area that I was very active in and still am active in. And originally I started looking at organizations. I became a member of the Machine Vision Association, but really that was more focused on automotive inspection. I joined the AAPS as it was forming. Very good organization, but more focused on the development side rather than the manufacturing and quality side where my interests lie. And so I came to a PDA annual meeting. And at that meeting, there was a session entitled Inspection. And I got really excited. I went to that session. Turned out it was regulatory inspections, not visual inspection, but still really good stuff. I talked to Bob Dana after that meeting. I also talked to Russ Madsen. And I said, would you be interested in, at that time they were called breakfast sessions, putting together a breakfast session on visual inspection? They said, we'd love to have that. They were very supportive. So I went back, I talked to my management, and the next meeting that PDA had, next annual meeting, we organized a breakfast session on visual inspection. Had really good attendance, and we continued to have that. There were a small group of us that met regularly on this topic, and it was very exciting. So it was nice to finally meet and interact with a group of people who shared some common interest in terms of a particular technical topic and also product quality and manufacturing, and to see really strong support from the PDA staff. Well, there was a bit of a learning curve because it's not something that I had done before. We've had other members that served, other directors and other members on the board of directors who've served on other volunteer boards. I came in a little cold to that, but it really meant focusing on the organization's stability, its financial stability, and its future direction. Ideally, when the board is working really at its top level, we're not worried about the day-to-day. We have a great staff at PDA, a great leadership of the PDA staff in the president and senior staff, and they're really responsible for the day-to-day operations. But the board has a strategic role, both in terms of financial stability, but also in terms of strategic direction. What technical areas are we going to pursue? What do we see as evolving trends? Where should we invest our efforts? Where should we invest what comes in from publications, from meetings, from training, and how do we use that to generate the maximum benefit for PDA members and, frankly, the industry as a whole? And actually, there's a graphic that we've used at the new member breakfast to kind of show what those volunteer opportunities are. It's been in the PDA letter and other places online talking about PDA membership. And there's sort of a roadmap of membership opportunities. And I have to say, I've checked almost all the boxes on that roadmap, and really exciting. Early on, it was getting involved in this breakfast meeting, which has grown into now interest groups. So I helped create and still continue to be an interest group leader, to be involved in planning meetings. I have chaired the technical program committee for a number of meetings, whether it was the annual meeting for a couple of years or helped create and still continue to co-chair the PDA Visual Inspection Forum. Those have been very exciting opportunities. I'm an instructor at the PDA Training and Research Institute, so I get that opportunity. I've published as an author of papers in the PDA Journal or a co-contributor to PDA Technical Reports or as a book that you can buy from the PDA library. So many, many opportunities in that way. I've also had an opportunity to speak at a number of chapter meetings, both in the US as well as globally around the world, to kind of reach out to some of the local chapters. So it's really been exciting to work at that level, and then finally get opportunities to serve as a leader on the board of directors, first as a director, and then as chairman of the board of directors. So those have been really outstanding opportunities, both on a technical level as well as on a leadership level. Well, first of all, I want to kind of start off with something very positive, and that is, even under the most difficult times on the board, I was very impressed at how the board worked collaboratively. I mean, you read stories about very contentious boards of various organizations and lots of infighting and, pounding on tables and this is my way. I never saw that, no matter who was the leader, who were the members of the board of directors. I think I always saw people really focusing on what was best for the organization. They left their individual affiliations behind at the door and came in and focused on what was best for PDA. And I really appreciated that. And because of that, even in difficult times, we could accomplish quite a bit. I'm also really pleased to see how the financial stability of the organization has evolved over the years. Looking at financial reserves, being able to weather difficult times like the recent pandemic, it's really important to be on a stable financial footing in order for an organization to survive for 75 years and hopefully another 75 or more. And so for those reasons, I was very pleased at both the advances from the time I started just as a director to my time as chair and the time since then. I also think that we've had very good continuity. The transition from being a chair-elect to a chair to being an immediate past chair, and that handoff of knowledge, I think, has gone very well. So it's been very exciting. I learned from the chairs before me. Hopefully I gave back to the chairs that came after me. But I've always felt that there were not gaps in terms of leadership with the board of directors in that regard. And that also, I think, is very exciting. I think we have a very good structure in terms of the way the board is set up, the way that transition takes place, the way the voting takes place from the membership to select board members. I do think that's a very transparent process and has worked really well over the years. I'll take the personal side first. It really is a great group of people. And walking into a PDA annual meeting, it's kind of like seeing family. You're seeing people, and one of the things, unfortunately, with the pandemic, we've been doing a lot of virtual meetings. We miss some of that contact. I'm hoping soon we return to that, but there really is a very friendly, open environment that I personally enjoy. I view PDA as my extended family, and I take that very seriously. It's been very positive, and I've made many, many good friends in PDA over the years, and that's true with PDA staff, other PDA leaders, but also just other members, people who've come to interest group meetings or conferences that I've been at. Wonderful. At the same time, there's a great network of technical contacts. I have hopefully provided information and learning to a large group of people, but I've taken away and learned a great number of things. I've taken courses at the Training and Research Institute, as well as taught courses there. I've listened to many, many great papers that have been presented at PDA meetings, and then after that session is over coffee, be able to talk to the person who gave the presentation, who did the work, and gain more insight on their work. So for those reasons, I've really benefited both personally and technically through PDA. I'll also say that I worked in big pharma for many years, both on the quality side as well as on the manufacturing side. But for the last almost 10 years, I've now been an independent consultant. And so it really opened up some doors to me in terms of building a network. People know me know the work that I do. And so it was very easy to make that transition. And frankly, to establish a new business and also give back a bit, not just to one company, but to the industry as a whole. I would say they were very supportive. And I will also, and I'll explain this, maybe a little easier than for some others. But at the time that I started to become more active, serving on program planning committees, at that point in time, the individual that I reported to was actually a board member at PDA. So I didn't have to sell them on the value of PDA and the things that I wanted to do. I received very good support. Now, what I will also say is just after I was elected as chair-elect, our company was acquired by another company. And I wondered, am I going to get the support from this new company for my service at PDA? And I'll name names here. At the time, I was part of Pharmacia. We were acquired by Pfizer. Pfizer was very supportive of my involvement as well. So that transition for me went very smoothly. So I received very good support, whether I was at Pharmacia or Upjohn before that, and finally Pfizer. So that was very positive. What I can say is that I think it's fairly easy to point out where there is benefit for your company in serving PDA. First of all, in terms of networking, it gives you great access to experts throughout the industry, essentially free expert consulting that you can take advantage of. And you can do that simply as a member attending meetings, but when you get more involved in the leadership, I think it even enhances that opportunity. So I think there is actually a payback for your company to allow you to spend time. I also think that as you gain greater visibility through your activity in PDA, you become established as an expert that is also recognized by regulatory authorities. And through PDA, you have the opportunity to interact, whether it's with PDA or the European authorities or the Japanese authorities, on an informal and a personal level, not just sitting across the table when you're having a regulatory inspection or debating over the 483 that you might be about to receive. And so for those reasons, it allows you to build relationships that you might not be able to build either in other ways, and those certainly are of value to companies as well. So I think there's really is a payback there, but I'm also willing to admit that maybe my road was a little easier than it might be for others. Jokingly, and I was very honored, PDA honored me with a lifetime membership, one of the honorary awards that are given. And jokingly, when I accepted that award, I said, my goal is to live as long as possible so I can get the most out of this membership. I don't want to just get a lifetime membership and disappear. I want to keep coming back, contributing to meetings, participating in meetings, teaching at the Training and Research Institute. So as much as we're thinking about past leaders, I also want to be a future leader, and that's really my goal.
Right, and you're teaching downstairs right now.
Today, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you came up here and took time with us now. That's great. And one last question I thought of while you were talking. I heard a rumor, I may have first-hand knowledge of this, or I may not. Are you the only chair to have the chair reception at the annual meeting shut down by the police?
I believe I have that distinction. That is true. That happened in Las Vegas, and it got to be a fairly wild party. We were having the cheeseburgers delivered to the suite. We had a billiard table. We had people tending bar. We had a bar there.
Playing billiards actually.
Yeah,
in the police game.
Yes. Yeah. And we were told that we were being too rowdy and too noisy. Hard to believe for a bunch of scientists, and this was Las Vegas. And in Vegas, yeah, exactly. But yes, they shut us down and we had to send everybody out. So I think that's my only distinction. I did not have to do a perp walk. I was not arrested as a result of this. But no arrest, no charges were ever filed. But yes, they did come and shut us down.